tonight. Otherwise, I'm gonna be super sad. Ooh. There we go. Okay, that should be a little bit better. That should up my... Hey, Silver! So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully there's no... I don't get like a CGV tonight. I don't know how I keep getting CGVs. I mean, honestly, it's not like I'm doing anything that I haven't done for the last, like, what, 2 years? 3 years? How long have we been doing bedtime stories? It's been a while. We've been doing them since at least... When did I go to Disney? Or when did I go to Disneyland? Don't mind me. I'm just having a little sweet treat. Is it sweet treat? I got a CGV basically for being boring. Yeah, so I got a CGV because it said my live didn't have a reason. Yeah. It just happened again. What the heck? It says gifting suspended. This behavior is not in line with our policies. Gifting is suspended in this live. Reason: features continuous and monotonous actions without clear objectives of sustaining engagement. Yeah. I have no idea what is going on. Like, I keep getting these quote unquote restrictions. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How about kicking it over the fun story or question with Spark Chats? Like, live monetization features suspended. Appeal again. Seriously, what is happening right now? This is ridiculous. I don't even know why it's doing that. I'm just sitting here talking with you guys. Exactly, Belle. What the helly Bernadelli? Like, it happened twice. Ends in 7 days. Live monetization features suspended. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm not even doing anything. Yeah, I can't get, I cannot get live gifts for 7 days. Like, and it doesn't even, it just, a third one. This is a third one. Okay. All right. Somebody, what the? This is ridiculous. How do I know who's all in the, there's gotta be somebody in here that's like reporting me or something. Like, I've gotten 3 restrictions in 3 minutes. There's gotta be a bot in here that's doing it. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of is there's a bot in here that's like reporting my life. I'm not, this is on TikTok. I don't understand, like, I legitimately do not understand what the heck is happening right now. It makes 0 sense whatsoever. Like, I don't even know how to see, like, it's gotta be a bot that's like in my live or something. It has to be a bot because I can't, this is like, and like, I get it. I got it before when I was reading, like, okay, maybe TikTok doesn't like me reading books on the internet. That I got. Like, I understood that part. But like, within a minute of me getting on here, it gives me a content violation. What? It doesn't even make sense. The only thing I can think of is that it doesn't like that I use, maybe it doesn't like that I use my VPN. I mean, I always use a VPN in my lives, but I don't know. Like it really doesn't make any sense. Like I have no idea. I mean, in theory, it shouldn't matter. I mean, I've been using a VPN for TikTok for years because I don't want to get all the TikTok shop ads. I set it to Canada and then I don't get TikTok shop ads. Like, I don't. This is so. And like, the appeal goes away. So, like, as soon as I end the live, the appeal goes away. Although this one says 7 days. Like, I have. It. Live monetization features suspended. Your previous behaviors were not in line with our policies. But I don't, like, it doesn't. Ew, why is my camera going totally orange? It doesn't even make sense. I don't know. Something is going super weird. Yeah, hang on. It just made me super orange. And literally, it was within 1 minute of getting on live. Like, I went live at 10 o'clock and I got the CGV, like, yeah, because every single live that I've done for the last week or so, like, I get, oh my gosh, what is happening? This doesn't even make sense. I've been reading books to you for years. I have been doing books on live since, okay, hopefully that makes me less orange. I have been doing, aw, yeah, you can hang out here till I fall asleep. I've gotten 4 restrictions in the last 7 minutes. Doesn't even make sense a little bit. I don't know if I can email. Maybe I can email. Like, this is, yeah. Doing what? Just this. Like talking to y'all, going live and talking to y'all has literally the I'm not even saying anything inflammatory. I'm still gonna read. I'm still gonna read. I am still gonna read here in a moment. I'm pulling up TikTok on my computer to, like, no, I don't think I've seen the redhead that acts the fire. I've seen Haley the redhead who does, like, the Imperial, but, like, I legit do not I'm going on TikTok support because this does not live stream restrictions, reading books and censorship. I don't even read books that are crazy. We're reading Star Wars books. Like, what the heck is happening? Hang on. I don't even know, like, who to... I, I don't even know who to... I don't think that's gonna help. It's not... Like, Luna, it happened within a minute. Like, I didn't even start reading. Like, I literally hit go live and, like, bam. I immediately got a violation. Like, it wasn't... It was not... It was within a minute. I was on live for a minute and it banned me. It put me... I don't even know. I don't even... Menu button and says analytics. I don't even know, like, this whole idea of, like, I don't even do anything that's... Oh, hi, you're banned for 7 days. I'm banned from monetization for 7 days. 1 minute of starting my live. All right, I just created a ticket because this... It was like it was like immediate. Like, I signed on and then immediately it pops up a restriction. Like, it doesn't even... And then it happens every couple of minutes. Yeah, it says gifting suspended. This behavior is not in line with our policies. Gifting is suspended in this live. Reason: features continuous monotonous actions without clear objectives of sustaining engagement. Learn more in rules of guidance. Live monetization guidelines. I mean, we can... Here we go. TikTok live. What areas do live monetization? Low quality content. The authentic creativity on TikTok live is what makes it great, which is why lives that don't provide original content, engagement, or interaction for viewers are ineligible for monetization. For example, we may demonetize reproduced or unoriginal content that is imported or uploaded without any new or creative edits. This includes content with someone else's visible watermark or superimposed logo, appropriating someone else's content, making minimal adjustments, and claiming it as your own unique creation. I don't do any of that. Pre-recorded videos, spliced videos, and looping videos. I don't do that. Content featuring continuous and monotonous actions without clear objectives or direct interaction with viewers. I am interacting with you guys. Like, that doesn't even... Yes, I'm currently streaming there right now. I am currently streaming on Clock app as well as the Tube and the Purple app because the Clock app keeps being dumb. Like, I don't understand. I literally do not understand. Yeah. Shocking or graphic dismissive, divisive. Yeah. So I keep getting it because content featuring continuous and monotonous actions without clear objectives or direct interaction with viewers. But I'm interacting with y'all. I'm interacting with y'all. Oh, one of them disappeared. Hang on. There was 4. One of them went away. It wasn't the first one though that I submitted an appeal for. Like I said, this is so this is so confusing. Oh my goodness. Oh, it pisses me off. But yeah, I have been reading I don't understand why I'm getting this since I have been reading. Well, no. So Tony, you missed it. And all 3 of them now have disappeared. Hang on. Nope, they didn't disappear. Yeah, I got the violation within 1 minute of starting the live. Like I didn't even I literally started the live and it whoop popped up. And I just submitted a ticket because this is ridiculous. This is like I get it. Mate, I don't But I have been reading books on stream since 2023. It's been 2023. Since 2023, I have been reading books on TikTok. 2023. Hello, Kingdom Hearts. But that would make sense if I make anything that's I obviously don't support them. I am very clearly in one camp and not that one. But like is it I'm sorry, Larry Ellison. I apologize for calling you evil Tony Stark. I'll stop calling you evil Tony Stark. This legit, like, makes me so mad. Anyway, so I submitted appeals. We'll see what happens. I mean, I had 4 violations and it took away 1 of them. So, I don't know. I don't like within 30 seconds of me jumping on a live, like I can't imagine that that's Oh, okay, Silver. I mean, I can't imagine that somebody would report me within the first 30 seconds of me being on live. I mean, that's ridiculous. It has to be a bot. There has to be some kind of bot that hates me and has been like assigned to just automatically reporting my lives. I mean, I'm assuming okay, don't report my live, but like I'm assuming that if you go to report a live, you can report that it's monotonous, right? But it has to be like a bot because there's no other reason I can think of that it would do this. It just doesn't make any sense. The only complaint, Silver, about the tube is that my I don't get my filter, so I don't have my fake makeup on, so I might have to actually start putting on real makeup. Yeah. I don't know why, but like I obviously, like, if you ask me my opinion, I will tell you my opinion on the state of things. But I can't say that I'm like super crazy. I don't. There's got to be bots on here that are banning accounts. But like, I get it. Like, if you go after, I don't even want to say like Aaron Parnas, but like, I would get if you go after Aaron Parnas. Like, I get it, that one, or the politics girl, or uh, what's the guy? Ken Wisconsin. I get it. Like, I get that one. I understand those. I get those. They're saying things that are very adamantly against everything going on. But like, for the most part, my content is Star Wars, ADHD, or motherhood and and other nerd stuff. Like I can't imagine like Disney stuff too. Like I don't. It has to be some weird bot that's like auto banning me or something. Um, and like demonetized. Like I don't even. I make what, $1 a week on TikTok? Like that's it. I, this is so. This is really pissing me off. And like I said, I don't understand the censorship. Like even if if it is like the censorship of the app, it 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 makes zero sense because I don't make content that is in any way inflammatory. Although if you ask me my opinion, I will tell you my opinion. I mean, I'll say things like I said I wanted to live in Star Wars. Living under the Galactic Empire wasn't it. That's not what I meant. I meant pretty silk dresses and cool hair and really sexy copy paste boys and hot Jedis, a secret hot Jedi husband like that. I meant that. I didn't mean the Galactic Empire. I did not mean I meant the sexy clones and hot Jedis, not whatever this is. But like, is that super like I can't imagine. It's not super inflammatory. I get maybe guilt because that's what I mean. The content that I consume, maybe I don't know. I gave it for the TikTok creator from a few days ago, offering like 3 cents per video. I mean, I don't. It doesn't make any sense. I don't have enough for the creator fund. But like this whole like demonetizing my lives, I don't understand it at all. It's got to be bots. Because if you're saying that like this is happening to other creators that don't even make inflammatory content, there's got to be a bot floating around that's doing this. So I would say, just as a side note, if you guys notice that this is happening on your other favorite creators and their other lives, make sure you guys are also putting in support tickets. Because the way that, like, from what I gather, when content creators have these kinds of problems, the only way they get fixed is if enough followers also complain. So I unfortunately, like, if it is a bot, I can't necessarily see who that is. It says I have 4 viewers on my stream. I don't know if it'll that's not always accurate. I, I don't know. Like I said, it says I have 5 viewers of my stream. I don't know what it is. But obviously there's a bot that keeps reporting my lives for no apparent reason whatsoever that I can think of. Yeah, so yeah, it demonetized the live. So I cannot get live gifts. So I guess I'm only reading 2 chapters. It's so odd. I have no idea why it's doing this. Again, I don't say things that are super inflammatory. Again, I say my opinion, but I don't really like go crazy on the amount of like I don't feel like I'm saying a lot of like stuff. Maybe it's cuz I shared too many videos about it and what I will do when it happens. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why it's the TikTok gods are mad at me cuz where do you file a complaint? You should be able to like put in a service ticket. If you put in a service ticket, that should make that's where you can that's what I did. I put a service ticket in because I keep putting in these appeals and it's obviously not doing anything. So I put in a service account, a service ticket, like a tech ticket because it's pissing me off. You think he's the bot, but like he hasn't been here the whole time. He says he's got 297 followers and he's following 4,075. Um uh and he's only been supposedly watching for a minute. So, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. So, if you guys I don't know what we're gonna. Did they like disappear now? I feel like they just did they dis. No, they're still there. Hang on. Live monetization features suspended. Your previous behaviors appeal approved. So it appeal. So one of my appeals went through. The other three are still sitting in no man's land. Did you miss anything on Saturday? Weren't you here on Saturday? Thought you were here on Saturday. I don't think you missed anything on Saturday. Let's see. Maul took over the two gangs, the Gravity Massive and the Bone Kings. He won his fight against the Wampa. Oh, and he thought that Zero was the Twi'lek. The Twi'lek Zero. He thought that the Twi'lek Zero was the weapons dealer that he's looking for. But I guess now Zero said it's not, that he's not that guy, and that guy is a total myth and doesn't exist. But Luna and I were thinking, we've come up with a couple theories. Zero is lying, and he actually is the guy. I think it's a Dread Pirate Roberts situation. I think it's either a Dread Pirates Roberts situation where like the weapons dealer guy is he used to be like, there used to be a guy named Iram Radiq or whatever, but then like he escaped or he got out of the business, and so like he passed the name down on to somebody else, and like it just keeps going and going and going. Like it could be that. Shadow Kitten said she's also been having issues. I don't know Shadow Kitten. But yeah, if that keeps happening to other lives, just let people know, because I think there's a couple bots out there. There's a bot farm that's probably doing this to smaller creators. And then so it's either the Dread Pirate Rob situation. So the guy used to be real, but then like he passed the name down and like he just took over the empire. That, or hi Finro, or it's the dad with the son, because that's how the dad has all this money, which I think that one might be a little bit closer because oh, hey Ro. Side note, Ro, we're not going to GalaxyCon. Because none of the Star Wars groups are going, which means I don't have like a safe place to change or keep my costumes other than in my car. So that's not happening this time. Richmond. Raleigh is still potentially on the table, but if I did Raleigh, it would be a down and back in the same day because hotels in Raleigh are too frickin' expensive. But just as a side note, save your money, because if there is a good chance that Minnie Mando, you know who Minnie Mando is, we just don't say her name, but Minnie Mando is going to pick going to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights again for her birthday, and if that is the case, you are certainly welcome to join on that trip, because you know, Five Nights at Freddy's. There is like a good chance that they're gonna do a Welcome to Derry It House this year, which would make me super excited because I love Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård, he can get it. Even in the Pennywise makeup. But just as a side note, So keep that in the back of your noggin. How is school? When do you start? Did you start already? I wasn't sure if you started yet. How much to save? Well, you're gonna need at least like $350. Thereabouts. That will cover the train and the ticket. Your 9-year-old is eavesdropping. Oh no. So like $350 would be the approximate amount, because the hotel I will probably ask my mom and dad for the hotel again. Um, or I beg my cousin, my cousin, my one and only cousin who is younger than me. I have one cousin who is younger than me. All of my other cousins are older. um, on both sides of the family. So on my dad's side of the family, I have one cousin that is younger, and he is only younger by 6 months. He is the youngest grandson, and I am the youngest granddaughter. um, oh, that's good. I am still plugging away. And I forgot to tell you guys, I got a mentor today. I got a career mentor today. Um, so Finro is my baby second cousin, I guess is how that works. Finro is my baby second cuz, but I call him my baby cuz. His dad is my actual cousin. Uh, um, so, but again, all because my mom is the youngest of 7. So my mom is the baby of the family. Hey, Brandon! So my mom's the baby of the family, and then my mom waited until she was 37 to have me. So, like, not only I'm the youngest of 7, there is an 18-year age gap between my mom and her oldest sibling. But yeah, so my mom is the youngest of 7, spanning 18 years, and I was born in her late 30s. By the way, before any of you go there, by the way, I would just like to point this out, that of me and my other 2 siblings, I am the only one who was planned. Okay? Just as a side note, before you guys are like, oh, were you the surprise? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was the only one that was planned out of the 3 of us. Okay? Just putting that out there because I hate when people are like, oh, were you the surprise? No, I wasn't the surprise. Okay? Okay? My dad was married before, had 2 kids with his first wife. They were surprises. I was not. Oh, yeah, you can see the undercut. I'm gonna undo my mic. So yeah, there's my undercut. It's getting a little shaggy. It needs redone. But just as a side note, I know that's probably TMI, but I'm just putting that out there because people always like to make those comments about how my mom was 37 when I was born. But I am the youngest of 3. But yeah, all of my cousins, with the exception of one, are older, and that's with my dad's the middle kid. And so like my dad's younger sister, who's younger by 12 years, I think, has the only cousin that I have that's younger than me. I'm closer in age pretty much to all of my second cousins, like my cousins' kids, than I am to my actual cousins. Child of your cousin is cousin once removed. Okay. So Finro, you are my cousin once removed. I always thought it was second cousin. I was always told it was second cousin. I have no idea why removed. That sounds so weird. You are my first cousin once removed, I guess. You know what? I prefer baby cuz I don't have very many. I don't have like baby cousins. Again, my cousin in Florida, he's 6 months younger than me. That's not really a baby cuz, and I've always been the baby cuz. You know what, Finro, we're just gonna go with baby cuz that sounds cooler anyway. And I don't have any. I've never really had any, you know. Like, and my poor kids are like almost the same way because, well, so on my side of the family, my siblings are so much older. Like, my sister's kids are closer in age to me than I am to my sister, because my sister and I are 16 years apart. My sister and I are 16 years apart. My niece and I are 3 years apart. Actually, 2.5. So, like, I am much closer in age to my nieces and nephews than I am to my sister. My brother doesn't have any kids that we know of. So my kids, their cousins on my side of the family are all adults. Like, my nephew will be 30 this year. My niece was 35 years ago, and she has 2 kids. Now, her kids are close in age to my kids, but But yeah, it's so. And then on my husband's side of the family, they have. He's one of three. His middle brother has a son who just graduated from high school. He's 17, almost 18, so not close in age to my kids. And the cousins that are close in age, my husband's younger brother is in the military, so they don't live close. They're all over the country. So we don't get to see them very often. Now they're very excited when they do get to see their cousins, um, who are basically the far away cousins, but it's my poor kids. They don't really get the cousin relationship that some people get because everybody is either far away or too old. That's okay. We've kind of made up a better family. Like we've started knitting our like Finro will attest, like we've kind of like made it that it doesn't really matter. Like we're all just kind of close. We try and be really close. I mean, hey, my very conservative mother is more on board with some things than others, which is totally weird. You only know two cousins. I mean, there's me. You've not met any of the other cousins? Oh, on your mom's side. Have you met any of the other cousins on your dad's side? I mean, there's a lot. You don't think so? I mean, there's a lot. I'll be honest. There's a lot, but even I challenge to get them straight because they're all my mom's age, basically. Oh, that'll be good, Luna. Okay. All right, so we're gonna try and read. Like I said, one of the appeals went through. The other three are still sitting in low man's land. I don't know. So I guess I'm only reading 2 chapters because I've been demonetized. Guess that sucks on you, TikTok. That's less money that you get. I don't even know. I have no idea. It's so weird. Which is weird because I was just talking to my DM and he was talking about this happens on his lives too, that he's gotten. I am on. I'm on there now. Like if you go over to my tube, I am on the tube. And my tube setup is a little bit prettier. I don't like the camera as good. Like my phone camera is better than my webcam, but yeah, I'm on both, Finro. I have Streamlabs. I pay for Streamlabs Premium so I can dual stream. And I stream gaming. Okay, I stream Minecraft on there as well. I haven't done Minecraft this week. I'm gonna see if we can play Minecraft tomorrow or Restorats because I haven't played Restorats in a couple of weeks. And that game is really. You want to start streaming? Well, just do it. You just start. You just start doing it, and then you just I just started doing Death Star lives, and then I started doing like random like not Death Star IT lives, and then I started reading books on live. I don't know. It's all random. All right. So, we caught up where we are in the book. Yeah. So we're going to read 2 chapters because we can't read 4 because I can't make a live goal because things are dumb. And eventually I'll figure out how to get bits on the purple app because I don't know how that all works. I need someone who knows a heck of a lot more than me to explain how the purple app and the tube work better. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Okay. Chapter 15. Limerge. Rise up, my apprentice. At the sound of the voice, Maul's pulse quickened. He rose to his feet and stared at the holographic image of his master. The one called Zero had been as good as his word. Less than 2 hours after Maul had dealt with the gangs, he'd received a coded message to come here to a remote corner of the prison morgue, to one of the empty chambers designed to hold inmates' corpses for disposal. It had been here, waiting for him. The transmitter fully assembled and functional. And now, the image of Sidious stood before him, the Sith Lord's yellow eyes blazing deep within the cowl of his cloak. His Zaid-clothed robe swept around him, the coarse fabric rustling audibly as Sidious raised his hand. In the background, small details of the top of Limerge Tower's interior were clearly visible, and Maul was momentarily taken aback by the vivid resolution of the image. Scavenger not, Zero's technology was impressively high quality. Hey, Eric! Do I believe in UFOs? I don't know. I've never really thought of it. There's a part of me that believes there is life on other planets because statistically there should be, but I don't know if I necessarily believe in UFOs or the aliens will come from the ocean. I've never really thought that far. Although there is that one episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix where those people, those like kids were all taken into a UFO at once in the middle of like 1975. You know, are UFOs real? I don't know. I don't put much thought into aliens as much as I guess some people do. But I think they're in the ocean. I don't think they're gonna, and I think they're already here. Like I think that the aliens are already here. Is it like Men in Black? I don't know. But I think there are some things that happen in our world that are just unexplainable. Master, he said aloud, or tried to, but the word stuck in his throat. You look well, my apprentice, Sidious said. I've been monitoring your progress among the inhabitants of Coghive 7 with great interest. Yes, master. I observe that regardless of the circumstances, Sidious continued, throughout these bouts with other inmates you have taken great care not to reveal your true powers as a Sith. Was there a twinge of sarcasm in his voice? That much is quite abundantly evident. You're referring to the most recent bout. Maul hesitated. The Wampa. Proved to be something of a challenge. Yes, so I saw. Sidious intoned. Perhaps you found yourself wishing that you might be permitted to draw unreservedly on the power of the dark side, or to be allowed the use of your saber staff. Sensing a trap, Maul demurred. My strength comes from within. Does it indeed? Sidious gave him a long, unreadable look. I wonder. Master. Pride and self-regard are not accolades to be earned only once. The power of the Sith must prove itself stronger with every test. Resting on your accomplishments now will only inhibit your ability to fully exploit the resources of anger and discipline that lie within you. Yes, Master. Protecting your identity and true purpose of your mission will be meaningless if you die before you achieve it. Sidious paused, gazing at him piercingly. Do my words sting? Perhaps you find my assessment unfair? No. The Sith Lord drew back. I expect much from you, Darth Maul, only because I alone grasp your true potential for greatness in the dark side. Thank you, Master. My only wish. Enough. Sidious's face went absolutely cold. Your restraint, training, and discipline will only take you so far. What progress have you made in locating Iram Radique? I have intensified my search. I've brought the prison gangs to heel and have made inroads in discovering the methods of their service to Radique. Maul met his master's gaze. It won't be long now. He paused, then pressed on. Perhaps if you were able to confide in me the true purpose of our plans. Sidious raised one hand in cutting the words off. You have been provided with all the information you require to complete your mission. For now, all you need to know is that we are continuing with our work to destabilize the Outer Rim, fueling insurgency and separatism. Ah, see? See? That's what the Sith want to do. They like to instill division and destabilization. We mustn't let the Sith do that. See? There. That's why I get banned, because I say stuff like that. We're talking about the fictional world of Star Wars. Right? Right? We all understand? Fictional world of Star Wars. The Sith Lord drew in a breath and released it, holding Maul's gaze with what might have been sympathy. Your reputation of loyalty to our cause is firmly established. I am not oblivious to the fact that you have been disappointed by your role in our plans up until now. That you may have craved a more pivotal role in the Iradu operation, for example. Maul tried to suppress his sense of surprise and failed. How had Sidious known about that? After his master had used security droids to covertly orchestrate the assassination of 6 Directorate members at the Iradu Trade Summit and attempted to kill Chancellor Valorum. Maul had been unable to understand why Sidious hadn't involved him personally in the operation. He assumed that he'd hidden his disappointment well, buried it deep inside himself. Why am I yawning? This is ridiculous. He'd hidden his disappointment well and buried it deep inside himself, where even he had been able to overlook it. Yet his master had seen through it. Suffice it to say that what you are achieving now with Iram Radik will far surpass any smaller errand that I could have given you. Yes, master. Good then. Rise and go forth. Take what is rightfully ours. The dark side is with you. Maul tried to respond, but the vision in front of him of his master and the debris-cluttered floor of the Lemerge building was already starting to fade. Stepping away from the Holovid unit, Darth Sidious opened his eyes and crossed the floor of the Lemerge. I have not yawned like all evening, and then as soon as I start reading, I get sleepy. Okay. Stepping away from the Holovid unit, Darth Sidious opened his eyes and crossed the floor of the Lemerge tower to the turbolift, his mind already teeming with the collision of thoughts. As with any mission involving Maul, the situation that Sidious was creating on Cog-Hive 7 was not entirely stable. The Sith Lord had harbored no delusions about his apprentice's ambition or pride, or how closely those elements were linked to the anger that was constantly sweltering inside his apprentice. Fermenting as Maul's power continued to intensify. Locked in unswerving allegiance to the cause, the Zabrak's heart was a reactor of pure distilled rage. And that rage will serve him well. Yes, when Sidious reflected back on the years of training that Maul had endured, proving himself repeatedly against the worst of the galaxy had to offer, he felt an unmistakable pride in his apprentice's strength and fortitude. By definition, Cog-Hive 7 was an environment no one survived, yet Maul had already established himself as a dominant presence, without relying on the Force. Despite what he'd said to Maul, Sidious felt an increasing respect for what his apprentice continued to achieve. In the fullness of time, such abilities would be able to continue to serve him better than he could possibly imagine. By the time he left the building and walked out to hail a skycab to the Senate District, the Sith Lord's concerns had abated. The hour was yet early, and his schedule for the day, as Palpatine, was already full. Ooh! 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 Exciting! The air taxi darted down toward him, whirring to a halt, and as the door opened, he realized with a start that the cab wasn't empty. Ooh, guess who's in the cab? This is kind of exciting. Higo Damask was waiting for him inside. We haven't heard about him since Plagueis. Darth Sidious, Damask said, gesturing to the empty seat beside him. Will you join me? Palpatine flicked his eyes toward the air taxi's cockpit, but Damask gave him a reassuring nod. I've rendered the surveillance equipment inoperative, the Muun said, and so that we may speak freely, as equals. Of course. Well, remember, this takes place before, this book, Valorum is still Chancellor. So, remember, this book takes place before the events of the Phantom Menace. So yeah, Damask would still be alive since Damask dies, 24 hours before the end of yeah. Higo Damask, Darth Plagueis, dies the night that Palpatine is elected to Chancellor. So the end of the Phantom Menace is when, basically, 24 hours, 12 hours before the parade in Theed, which is the end of the Phantom Menace. So yeah, this book takes place before the events of the Phantom Menace, which is why we're reading them in the order that we're reading. And that's why the next book will be The Queen's Peril, because that book would take place kind of at the same time as this book, but and overlaps into the Phantom Menace. So, but this is kind of cool. We get to hear from Higo Damask, which we haven't heard of since Plagueis, which we read that one we started in 2023. So, I've been reading books on TikTok for 3 years almost. It's been a while. So this whole CGVs that I'm getting makes zero sense since I have been reading books on live since 2023. I've been doing this for a long time. So many books. But I like it because I read it. It gets me to read. It gets me to read more than, fairy smut. Not that I read fairy smut. I tried reading I tried reading ACOTAR and I thought it was super boring. So I much prefer wolves and vampires to fairies, but you know, hey, whatever. Of course. Without hesitating, Darth Sidious slipped inside next to the Mune, his expression revealing just the right tincture of pleasant surprise. It's always good to see you under any circumstances. Yes. Behind the respirator mask, Darth Plagueis offered what might have been a faint smile. I know that we had plans later to meet in Monument Plaza for our usual stroll, but something's come up and I had to alter my schedule at last minute. I thought it would be best that we meet now. He turned to Sidious and cast a passing glance back at the Lemerge building. I take it you've been in touch with the Zabrak? As a matter of fact, I recall you mentioning that you've dispatched him to Coghive 7 to find his elusive weapons dealer? Iram Radique, yes. Sidious was careful to sound as casual as possible, although inside he was already puzzled. Darth Plagueis knew only the broadest generalities about Darth Sidious's ongoing work to destabilize the Outer Rim planets and orchestrate the galactic civil war. He rarely asked specific questions about where the weapons were coming from, or how exactly Sidious intended to use them to facilitate the grand plan. This Radique, Plagueis continued in the same conversational tone as he gazed out the window at the approaching avenue of the Core Founders, is rumored to be one of the most powerful arms dealer in the galaxy. Radique is as dangerous as he is unpredictable. Sidious was aware of the unwelcome warmth beginning to climb upward through the back of his neck, enveloping his cheeks and forehead, which is why I sent Maul to assassinate him. I see. Sidious leaned slightly forward in an attempt to catch Plagueis' eye. I've been meaning to inform you, my mission there is something I have absolute confidence in your ability to execute. Plagueis placed a hand on Sidious' shoulder. I must commend you on your foresight and commitment to our ultimate purpose, Darth Sidious. As you might have guessed, with the increasing demands of my own private pursuits on Sojourn, I find it profoundly liberating that I do not need to monitor the particular means with which you uphold our united goal. Yes, of course. Sidious regarded him speculatively. What exactly was Plagueis telling him? Did the Mune harbor his own dark suspicions about what Sidious had hoped to achieve in sending Maul to Coghive 7? Or is Plagueis simply probing him for more detail? Well, Plagueis had already settled back again with a nearly inaudible sigh. I suppose this is goodbye for now. The air taxi docked, and Sidious realized that he had arrived at the Senate Rotunda. The cab's hatch released with a faint sigh, and as he began to step out, he felt Plagueis' hand take hold of his wrist. There is one other thing, he said, and with the same tone of cordial detachment. I thought you should know that all your talk of Coghive 7 piqued my interest. Indeed. Sidious felt something tighten inside his throat. How so? I've spoken to a contact at the IBC and asked them to dispatch a final consultant there under the auspices of a routine quarterly audit, a certain Vesto Slifer. Ah! Yeah, I kind of figured since he was part of the IBC that he was going to be... I had a feeling that the Mune that was from the IBC dispatched to Coghive 7 was going to be part of Plagueis somehow. Behind the mask, Plagueis' smile was purely diplomatic graciousness. Perhaps I can help you ferret out this elusive arms dealer after all. Sidious felt a tight knot in his throat. That's extremely thoughtful of you. Oh, I'm sure it is. I know we are together on this, Plagueis said, as equals. Plagueis withdrew his hand. He was still gazing out at Sidious when the air taxi's hatch closed between them, and it lifted away from the Senate Plaza, leaving Sidious standing there, alone. Okay, so we know when he's on the holovid, and he's talking as Sidious, he wears, Palpatine's robes, like the Emperor's robes, some sort of Grim Reaper looking guy, okay? But, I have a question. He just met with Maul as Sidious and went to get in a sky cab. Did he change between when he was on the holovid with Maul and when he went to the Senate Rotunda? Or is, Darth, a guy who's looking like the Grim Reaper just, get out at the Senate Rotunda and is, walking around and nobody asks any questions? There's no paparazzi there to be like, why is there a guy in black Jedi robes just hanging around the Senate Rotunda? Maybe, but They don't talk about, like, they didn't mention that he, like, took off the robe. So, like, is he dressed as Palpatine, like the senator? Or is he currently wandering around the Senate Rotunda in Sith robes? Like, what? I have questions. It bothers me that they did not say that he is what he's wearing. I prefer books with more detail about what he's wearing. Plot. There. I found a plot hole. What is Sidious wearing? Is he dressed like Sidious or is he dressed like Palpatine? Because he would have been dressed like Palpatine. Sorry, is he dressed like? Sorry, he would have been dressed like Sidious to get on the holovid with Maul. We know that. He always does that. But to, like, get in a sky cab, you'd think he would have been in Palpatine clothes. But then he's also talking to Plagueis. I don't know. I need. Why can't they make this into a movie? Maybe they will. Maybe that's what the Maul show's about. Maybe. That would be cool. Well, at least they're longer chapters tonight. Chapter 16. Nightside. The debris pile was made up of burned out droid parts, condenser coils, and twisted rebar, all forcibly compressed into a perfect cube. Artagan had scavenged together a dozen such blocks down here a year ago while wandering through an unfinished wing off maintenance. The one of the inmates called Nightside. Originally designed as Coghive 7's garbage dump, Nightside was now a desolate industrial cave, its shadows bulking with unused scrap balers, shearing machines, and metal shredders. The stink of carbon composite and various ferroalloys hung permanently in the air. Prisoners came down here from time to time, scrounging through leftover debris ever since the rumor began circulating that somebody once found a bear wagon shield disruptor in a pile of heavy smelting scrap. The story was probably apocryphal, but it drew them anyway. None of which explained why Artagan Truex had brought his son here today. Very good. Artagan glanced at the block of debris and then turned back to Egon. This one now. That? The boy gave it a sidelong glance. It's too much, and my arm's already burned out from those deadlifts. Excuses won't... Oh, puzzle piece, hang on. There we go. Excuses won't save you. Artagan gazed at his son sternly. Do you wish to survive this place or not? Eogan? How did I pronounce it before? Egan? Eogan. Egan? Eogan? I don't know how to pronounce that. It'll probably be different every time I read it. Egan nodded and shut his eyes. He was stripped to the waist, his bare torso pale and nearly hairless. He'd spent the last few hours chasing prison rats across the elevated girders, attacking them with both hands tied behind his back. They were large, disgusting things, but they moved fast, and pursuing them required absolute focus and determination. Afterward, he'd practiced punching, kicking, swinging, ducking, lifting, and pulling. Artagan coaching his son through the various holds, locks, and attacks that might one day make all the difference in a bout. There were no rules here in Coghive 7. No such thing as mercy, no quarter asked or given. After the morning workout, sweat gleamed from Egan's upper lip and forehead, plastering the reddish-brown hair against his brow in strands and clumps. Now? Whenever you're ready. Reclining backward, Egan tilted his head back and reached for the makeshift crossbar that his father had jimmied up beneath the pallet. Artagan waited while his son tested the bar to make sure the load was balanced, and he watched his son's features tense up in anticipation of the lift. Get under it, Artagan said. How many? Start with 1. The boy shut his eyes and pushed. Muscles leapt out across his shoulders, chest, and abdomen, biceps straining, arms extending until he felt the debris pile at arm's length off the floor. He started to lower it, but Artagan spoke. Hold it on my count. Egan didn't argue. The load trembled, the boy's jaw clenched, fighting gravity and fatigue every passing second. Throughout it all, Artagan stood over him without expression, watching the weakness drain from his son's body, feeling the familiar mingling of deep pride and dismay that came with the realization of how hard that boy was working, and ultimately how little it mattered. Egan grunted. Father. 5 more seconds, Artagan said. You can do it. The boy tucked his chin. By now his face had gone a dark, plummy shade of scarlet, all the way up to his hairline. Veins stood out in his temples. A slight involuntary whimper escaped his throat, and Artagan heard the load beginning to rattle as the boy's arm trembled harder than ever, threatening to collapse. I can't! 2 more seconds, Artagan told him. 1. He nodded. That's enough. The load dropped with a crash, and Egan let out a gasp of relief, sitting up slowly and rubbing his shoulders and trembling with the lactic acid built up in his muscles. Artagan tossed him the towel and waited while the boy mopped his face and glanced back at the cube before finally lifting his gaze to look at Artagan. His face was pale now, drained, but clearly pleased. How much? Egan asked. 120. I've never lifted that much before. You asked for a true test, Artagan said. I gave you one. Reaching down to ruffle his son's sweaty hair, he felt a tenderness that he rarely allowed himself to acknowledge. The deep love whose only counterweight was the deep knowledge that all too soon it would be taken away. He withdrew his hand. Now, he said, the 52 fists. Egan's eyes widened. Father. Now. Reluctantly, the boy assumed the position of readiness, neck straight, body rigid, arms upraised, and a veil of doomed hopelessness already descending over his face. Compromising a blinding blizzard of lightning-fast attacks over a period of less than 5 seconds, the attack known as 52 Fists required total commitment to absolute destruction of the opponent. Done properly, it could kill a man 3 times Egan's size and weight, but the slightest tremor of intent left its unlucky practitioner wide open to all manner of retribution. Now, Artagan said. The boy launched himself at his father, arms scissoring in a blur of punches. At first, the results appeared promising, but all too quickly Artagan saw a hole, lunged forward, and drew his son to the floor. Egan lay supine, gasping for air, eyes shining and cheeks and forehead blazing. Only now did the anger come. Belated. Impotent. Are you going to cry, then? Artagan didn't bother hiding the disappointment on his face. You know the rule. Yes, father. The boy jerked his head up and down, fiercely fighting back tears. From the beginning, the rule had been simple. For every tear, a drop of blood. Then get up, Artagan said, extending his hand, and we'll try again. Yes, father. And all for what? A new voice jeered from the far end of the shop, ringing off the flat metal surfaces that surrounded them. 1 match? 2 if he's lucky. Father and son turned to look at the guard stepping out from behind a massive briquette press hunkered in the far corner. Making his way toward them, C.O. Voistock approached the debris block and gave it to an appreciative kick before turning his full attention to Artagan and Egan. You're wasting your time, kid, the guard said wryly. You know that, right? I'm training. For what? A one-way trip down the cremation shaft? That's... Egan's face contorted, becoming bitter. What would you know about strength and discipline? Strength and discipline, huh? Still grinning, Voistock tucked his thumbs into his belt and rocked back on his heels. I like that. Remind me to have it engraved on your dad's corpse as an inspiration to others. My father could tear a man like you to pieces without breaking a sweat. A little bit of the guard's smile faded. Forget it, Junior. I don't fight the elderly. He held the Blasco title for 3 straight seasons. Did you know that? Egan took a step toward him. Without that switch on your hip, you wouldn't last 5 seconds against him. Don't push it, boy. Remember who you're talking to. I'm almost ready. Tell him, father. Right. Voistock laughed, but there was no humor in it, only the brittle exasperation of a man whose patience was being sorely tried. Kid, you wouldn't last 5 seconds in a fight. Even your old man knows it. Reaching up, he ran one hand over his stubbled jawline. Why do you think he's paying me to help you 2 bottom feeders bust out of here? What are you talking about? You don't believe me? Ask your dad. What do you think I'm doing down here, breathing in all this metal dust for my health? The boy fell silent. His eyes shifted from Voistock to his father, and then he said in a very quiet voice, Is it true? Egan, is it true? Son, Artagan said, we'll both die here if we... You said I was strong enough. You said I was ready to fight. Artagan closed his eyes. This was going to be harder than he'd expected, he realized, and infinitely more painful. He drew his hands out of his pockets so that Egan could see how badly they trembled. Son, it's over for us here. Don't say that. It's not true. You're already stronger and faster than I am, Artagan continued, but you're not a killer. He steadied his hand and placed it on the boy's bare shoulder, felt the tension that had gathered there, twisted into knots of the post-adolescent indignation. There's a deep steel in you, yes, but there's also great mercy, kindness. He drew in a deep, resigned breath. This is no place for a boy like you. Boy. The single word seemed to lie more crushingly upon Egan than any of the weights he'd lifted. Then why did you bring me here? He asked. Artagan looked away. It was the one question he couldn't answer. It was a mistake. A mistake? I miscalculated. Relied on salvation from a man who could not provide it. He moved past his son, shifting towards Voistock. Can you get us into medbay? Voistock glanced at him for a long moment. When? Right now. What's the rush? I prefer not to linger here any longer than we absolutely have to. Artagan realized that he was clenching his fists and forced them to open them. His fingernails had cut tiny red half-moons in the lines of his palms. Yes or no? The guard sighed and nodded. Yeah, he said, and he checked the chrono strapped to his wrist. I can disrupt the primary and auxiliary feed to the medbay. When the power doesn't come back on the grid, maintenance will have to run a black start. It will take 15 minutes to bootstrap the main server arrays back online. But if you disrupt all the power, then how... Voistock held up one hand to stop him. At that point, our standard protocol is to reroute all power through GH7, so they can patch surveillance through the droid's photoreceptors. That's when you'll make your move. All right. You'll realize they'll see your faces. You'll have to do something about that. It's not a problem, Artagan said. You've got 15 minutes. If the droid hasn't deactivated the electrostatic charges in your hearts by then, there's nothing else I can do. I understand. I mean it, Voistock locked eyes with him. You're on your own. We're not friends, which means you and your boy are a couple of hard targets just like any other runaway. I don't know how you're going to get out of the medbay, and I don't care. Anybody asks me if I've seen you, I'll tell them everything. Then let's go. Father, no! Egan reeled around, and now all of his renewed anger and disbelief were focused where Artagan had been expecting it all along. Directly on him. He's setting us up, can't you see that? He's just going to steal every credit you have, drain the accounts, and send us right back into the cells again. He'll betray us the first chance he gets. Egan, he's our one hope of getting out, and we have to go now. I can learn the 52 fists. I just need more time. Artagan took a hold of his son, clasping him in a sweaty embrace. The boy squirmed, pushing back and fighting to resist. He was stronger than Artagan now, and under any other circumstances he would have broken the hold. But his arms were tired, the muscles spent from lifting. At last he collapsed into Artagan's arms, glaring up at his father in impotent fury. That's why you had me work so hard, he said tonelessly. So I couldn't stop you. Stop us. Hi, 90s, Artagan corrected, and he flicked his gaze at Voistock, narrowing his eyes. Are you ready? Voistock nodded. Just waiting on you. Let's go. So there conducts our reading for tonight. Hopefully, Wednesday, we won't have the same problems that we've been having. Hopefully on Wednesday we'll be able to do a live without getting a CGV. So, and this time wasn't even. Oh my gosh, it still pisses me off. So mad. On the plus side, and by the way, on Wednesday there will be stuff on my forehead. Just as a side note, it's Ash Wednesday on Wednesday. So before you guys are like, you got stuff on your forehead, it's supposed to be there. I think that's my favorite part of every Wednesday. Every Ash Wednesday after I go to Mass, I get like, and I get the ashes on my forehead. I get a lot of like, hey, did you know you've got dirt on your forehead? Yes, I am aware I have dirt on my forehead. I went to special church to get it put on my forehead. So, I am enjoying, oh, it's cold now. I am enjoying Fastnachts. And I don't do Mardi Gras, I do Fastnacht Day. So, my family is Mennonite. You got punch guys? My mother-in-law likes punchkas. Obviously, being from Wisconsin in the Midwest, she's used to those. if you're Pennsylvania Dutch or you're from Lancaster County, you get Fosnots. So usually my mom and I make them together. This year it didn't really work out that way. So my mom made Fosnots on Saturday, I think. But she made me Fosnots and gave me a bag and gave some to my cousin. Rose dad got some too. But yeah, they're very similar to punchkas. Um, which I think punchkas, I'm assuming that's how I say them. That's how my mother-in-law calls them. My mother-in-law calls them punchkas. So, and she said that when she was a little girl, she and her grandmother would make them right before punski. Oh, she always calls them punchkas. Huh. Punski. As close. But I make Fosnots, which are a German version. It is a potato dough. You use potatoes when you make potatoes, use the potato water and like one mashed potato in the dough. They're not sweet. My grandmother always shaped them in the donuts. My niece and my sister always make them as like more like the punchkas, where it's not exactly. So like most of the time they're solid. We make them in donut shapes. But most of the time, from what I gather, they're solid patty, like what a cream filled donut looks like without the cream inside. Um, but it is a mashed potato and then flour, yeast, a lot of yeast. Um, lefse. Lefse? I don't know lefse. This is just it's a German potato donut is the best way I can describe it. It's an old Pennsylvania Dutch recipe. Like the recipe that we use is like, no, it's not like a letka. It's not like that. It's like it said, it's bready. It's very um no. So it's a lot of yeast, potato, water, and flour. And like a really, really tiny amount of sugar. There's like a really tiny, just for like a hint of sweetness. Now, my grandma always put powdered sugar, like you do like 50-50 powdered sugar and regular sugar. Hello from the EU. Hello. Yeah, similar to like a potato bread, I guess. And then you let it rise, you punch it down, you knead it a couple more times, then you cut out whatever shape you want. Again, we cut it into donut shapes. You can cut them into a biscuit shape. It's entirely up to however your family makes them. And then you let them rise again, and then you fry them. So they're deep fried. My grandmother and my great grandmother always fried them in lard. I use Crisco because the idea of, not that I say that I don't use lard in some of my cooking. I do typically. You don't coat them until you eat them. So like what I will do is they're all uncoated in a bag downstairs. And I don't and then what I'll do is I'll put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds to make it warm. And then I will shake it in a bag of sugar. Now, my dad's mom, my other grandmother, she always did cinnamon sugar on her Fosnots, which Minnie Mando prefers cinnamon sugar on her Fosnots. I like the powdered sugar with just regular sugar, is how I would eat them. A lot of people dip them in coffee. My mom always dips them in her tea. I prefer milk. But it's an old family. Like this recipe, we don't even know how old it is. Like it's at least 100, if not 200 years old. How many Pennsylvania Dutch people are in the U.S.? It depends on what you count as being Pennsylvania Dutch. The people that are. Do you mean the people that speak Pennsylvania Dutch? I have no idea. That would be a smaller number. Or do you mean people that have families that are Pennsylvania Dutch? Because then, like, I fall into that category because my grandmother um was Pennsylvania for all intents and purposes. My grandmother was Pennsylvania Dutch. My mom's mom, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, failed the first grade because she could not speak English. She only spoke Pennsylvania Dutch. And so she flunked the first grade because she couldn't speak English and couldn't pass the first grade. Um, which I was, it's what she flunked the first grade despite never having left the United States. And I know that like there are plenty of Amish and Mennonite families that they speak Pennsylvania Dutch at home. It's not Dutch, it's German. It's a very, very dialected form of German, but it is German. Um, oh, nice. But I have been able. I can sort of converse with Pennsylvania Dutch because I speak German. But again, they speak a very heavy diet. Like it's very dialected. I speak High German because it's what I was taught in school. It's a little challenging to communicate, but I can do it if necessary. Um, but my grandparent, I mean my grandparents were Pennsylvania Dutch. I mean my mom's parents were Pennsylvania Dutch. They spoke. Um, I don't know if my grandfather did. They were Mennonite, so my mom's parents were Mennonite. My mom is not Mennonite. None of my aunts and uncles are Mennonite. I'm obviously not Mennonite. Um, but my grandparents were Mennonites. Um, so like we've it's been I mean they were some of the my family helped found Pennsylvania. Like it was they've been here since the earliest settlements of Pennsylvania. In fact, there's a town in or it's like a museum called Landisville in Lancaster County, and it's a historical settlement. Think of it like Colonial Williamsburg but older. um in Lancaster County to show you like what the original settlements of Lancaster in Pennsylvania kind of looked like. And I have relatives that are buried in the cemetery there from like the 1600s um, on my mom's side of the family. So it's old German settlers, Pennsylvania Dutch. But that's where our recipe for Fotsnots comes from. Is that like I said, the recipe that we use is at least it's I mean it's older than I mean it's 2026. It's older than 100 years. I mean this recipe is probably 200 years old. Because it was my mom's recipe, which was my grandmother's recipe, which was my great grandmother's recipe, which was my great great grandmother's recipe, which is why we've had to do some modern day conversions. Because what is a yeast cake? Where do you buy a yeast cake? I don't know. They don't sell that anymore. I mean, supposedly you can still buy a yeast cake in some communities, but like I've never seen one in a store. Uh, it's 11 teaspoons of yeast, by the way. The recipe calls for yeast cake. One yeast cake. That is 11 teaspoons of yeast. You're just sitting there going, we learned that like the hard way the first couple times we made the recipe. Because we thought one yeast cake is equal to one yeast packet. No, not enough yeast. They were very flat and very crunchy. Like they got no rise whatsoever because we did not have enough yeast in them. Um, so yeah, uh, the flour. I mean, and like the flour, the measurements. There is no like there's not like amount of cups. It is until you reach this consistency. Um, it's pick a potato, mash a potato that is medium sized. Um, Start with 5 pounds of flour. I mean, it's a recipe is ancient. um, it works. I mean, it it's very good. I make it every year. Most people don't like unless you grew up. Medium size is subjective. Yes, And the instructions read as, until the dough is not sticky. Like, you just keep adding flour and water until you have the right, it tells you what the consistency of the dough should be. But it doesn't really give more than that. Um, it's like I said, it's a very old recipe, so it's not like a cup. There's no cups measurement and teaspoons measurement. Yeast cake is an old measurement of yeast. I mean, that's like 1800s at least of like a measurement of yeast, and you would buy yeast in cakes. Like, you would then cut up the cake to make bread at home, but like a yeast cake is a very old way of like yeast would be bought. Um yeah, I mean, it was fun to try and figure out. Like I said, the first, I think, 2 or 3 times that we made the Fastnachts, we thought we screwed up, which technically we did. Ooh, yeah. I would imagine that post-medieval food, um, so you said you're from the European Union. Where in the EU are you at? Germany, France, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, Finland. Ooh, nice. Supposedly, my ancestors are from the Norwegian countries. Supposedly. They don't really know like which Nordic country our family comes from, but that's supposedly where the red hair comes from, is the Nordic family. I would like to go to Finland. I would love to go back to Europe. It's been too long. I need to check on my citizenship. Apparently, well, my brother and my brother and I are like chiseling my dad down for him to get his German citizenship so that I and him can get our German citizenships for no apparent reason whatsoever. Unless, of course, things drastically change, then it would be fine. Then I don't need my German citizenship. Although it'd be cool to have. Um, it's weird that 100 years ago my family decided to emigrate to the United States to flee what they saw was a bad storm on the horizon in Germany. And now I would like to return. I would like to return to the motherland. It's one of those ones where like I wish I could have conversations. Oh, thank you. It's not really that nice. I got it for free from my company. Bleak irony of history. Yeah. Yeah, my family emigrated from Germany in 1926, and here in the year of our Lord 2026, I would like to return to the European arms of the motherland. To a point. I also love my country. But I don't love what my country is doing. It's probably the best way to put it. I am I am a child of immigrants. I am a second generation American. My family emigrated here. They sought and fought. My grandfather was a prisoner of war, decorated war hero in World War II. Like, there is much of my history in the States to be proud of. It just makes everything's just really complicated right now. Oh, but anyway, I was talking to you earlier, guys. I got a mentor today. There's a lady at my company who I have been working with on another project, and I found out that she is apparently a mentor. She likes to mentor for women in STEM. So I asked her if she would help mentor me in my career to like figure out where I'm supposed to go. Because while I work in cybersecurity, I have felt a little lost in my career over the last year. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the next step is for me. My boss is kind of just like, well, get a certification, get another certification, get another certification. And I'm kind of like, okay, but like, those are time consuming and expensive. And if they're not going to really help me in my career, why bother? So I signed on. I'm going to have her mentor me and try and like figure out where I'm supposed to go. I need some help with finding direction. And I need. Oh, hello in Ireland. Oh my gosh, we're getting like an international night tonight. This is kind of exciting. There's another country I'd love to visit. I'd love to go to Ireland. I'd love to travel. I want to be wealthy enough that I can just freely travel. That's what I want. I would love to travel more. Mando Dad went to Ireland. I work in cybersecurity. Yes, I work in IT security and have for 5 years. Well, technically I started my IT career working in cybersecurity, but then I stopped to do like tier 2 support, and now I'm back in cybersecurity. And trying to grow in that direction. It's just more challenging. So, ooh. I never knew until like joining on TikTok, maybe like the last year or so, why Hoof and Mouth was such a big deal. Because like I remember hearing about it, but I never understood like what it just there's hoof and mouth disease. Okay, make the cows better. It's a prion disease. Uh, yeah, it's a prion disease. It stays in the meat. Like even if the meat dies, like it's still there. You cannot cook it out. Prions are like super serious. Like they will kill you, and there is no cure for prions. Like a prion will take your life. Yeah. It's like a little alien that burrows into your brain and burrows into your entire body and then just you. Yeah, prions are really serious. But I did not know that like hoof and mouth was a prion disease. I did not know what prion diseases were. I thought prion diseases were just something that you played on the game Plague Inc. And it was just kind of like a scenario thing. It wasn't real, like the zombie virus scenario on Plague Inc. And then because of TikTok, I have learned what a prion disease is and what prions are and how serious they are and why hoof and mouth was so serious. I was like, well, just okay, so like a cow has it. Okay. And I did not understand why it was such a big deal. Now I do. Now I understand the seriousness of it, but I did not at the time understand the seriousness of hoof and mouth disease. Uh, you know, castles, parks, and zoos are closed while I visit. Oh no, that would suck. You might get to go to Japan next year provided the empire has been neutralized. We can keep hoping. I mean, there was that guy on TikTok who made a prediction, and he's still got 33 more minutes to be correct. Has anybody heard from him? From him? Has it happened? Hi, Echo. Eco. I know you would avoid Imperial checkpoints. Honestly, I would too. Because supposedly there was like a guy on here that said like he's gonna tomorrow, Monday, February 16th, and if he doesn't, I'm gonna delete my account. And that was what he said. But you do not want to go to Alderaan. What's going on here? We're just chatting. So normally I read Star Wars books. I read 2 chapters to 4 chapters a night of a Star Wars book. Right now we are reading Maul Lockdown. It is our latest book in our series of the we've been reading through the Legends timeline since 2023. I'm slow, but also I have ADHD and we take detours. So, behind me is a bookshelf where I have other books. We read Darth Plagueis, and then we read the most boring Star Wars book ever written, which is called Cloak of Deception. Those were both Legends timeline, and then we took a break and we read The Rise of the Red Blade, which is a newer Star Wars book. That's basically follows somebody from being a Padawan at the Battle of Geonosis to becoming a Inquisitor, and that whole process. So yeah, it follows like the battle, like the start of the Clone Wars, all the way through the Clone Wars to the rise of the Empire. And we read Maul Shadowhunter, which was the next one in the Legends timeline. And then we read Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, which was a little bit of Hope Core. And then we also read The Living Force, which is, again, that's the Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, Rise of the Red Blade, and The Living Force are all like newer Star Wars books. Living Force was really good. I highly recommend that book. It was so fantastic. If you love like the Jedi Council and you want to learn more about like the personalities of people on the Jedi Council, like that was such a good book. I loved that book. That was it was so fun. Like, it was just so fun. That was a really good one. And if you like any of these books, I do have an LINK in my BIO for thrift books to get you a discount to buy books. I definitely will promote you guys to buy used books instead of buying new. It's better for the planet. So this is the one we're getting right now. So if you want to get it, you can go to the LINK in my BIO, get one, read along with us. It's a lot of fun. What would you do in Tokyo? My priority, if I were to go to Tokyo right now, I would go to the Pokemon Park and I would go to Disney. And Universal. So I would go to the 3 parks. Oh, and I hear there's like Miyazaki Park too that I would like to go to. Nerd stuff. I want to do nerd stuff. Oh, and I want to visit Arky. And all his Lego stuff. So yeah, if I could go to Tokyo right now, there's a lot of things I would do. I'm saving up for a trip to Thailand right now. I say I'm saving up, but I just literally booked my Disney trip for the year. It's booked. It's ready. I'm so excited. So Disney is a go. In May, we're going to do another. So because it's a graduation gift for hubby's nephew, we are going to do 2 days instead of all 4 parks in 1 day. I figure I'll let him like meander a little bit more than we got to meander last year. But it'll be fun. I think this is the first time he's ever gone to Disney World. And it's super funny because when he was 4, so he is 17 now, but when he was 4 and we were babysitting him, this is like before Mando Dad and I were ever even married. Like, we were just boyfriend, girlfriend living together, and his dad asked us to babysit him for like the weekend, and we did. And I remember I had said something. We were like driving to brunch because we were young and free and didn't have children. And we were driving to brunch, and he was sitting in the back seat of the car because, we're like, well, we're adults. We'll take a 4-year-old to brunch. I'm sure 4-year-olds love brunch. He did not. Besides the point. And he was sitting in the back of the car, and I had said something to Mando Dad about, oh, we should go to Disney World. That sounds fun. And then he goes, will you guys take me to Disney World? And I was like, huh? I was like, that's probably something you should ask your mom and dad about, like taking you to Disney World. And he goes, oh, they never take me anywhere. And I was like, oh, poor kid. But, I was young and dumb, and he wasn't my kid. He was my boyfriend's nephew, which was weird. But like, I didn't really think about it. And then we were thinking about his like graduation gift. And so, I asked Mando Dad if I could on my annual trip to Disney, if I could take, because we've decided it's an annual thing now. We're going to go down annually for at least 1 day to Disney because it gives me hope. Like, that's the thing that I can cling to, where I'm like, I just have to make it through this week. And then I am 1 week closer to going to Disney for a day That's all I need. I just need one day and it'll sustain me for a year. Um it's it's disassociation, okay? I go for a year. I go once a year for a day. It's like I get pass under the welcome to Walt Disney World sign and like everything that is wrong with the world, all of it is gone. I don't have bills that stress me out. I don't have a boss that stresses me out. I don't have to worry about global warming. I don't have to worry about whatever's going on in politics. None of it. It does not exist. There is no death. There is no destruction. There is no die. There is nothing terrible that happens once I pass under that sign. Oh, I'm sorry, Luna. You're still up in Canada, right? I pass him the sign, but we're gonna go, and I'm gonna take him with us. So I'm very excited. My mom offered us a free hotel, so that was nice of her. Um, and my friend, I took his kid with us to Universal last year, so he basically paid for our train tickets to make up for me paying for that trip. Um, and it's in general, I'm just very excited. It gives me something. It gives me. It's my hope core. That's my hope core. Is that I have count down the days, and I'm waiting for Mando Dad to get me my ticket, so that I can start booking, um, reservations. Cause I feel like even though he's a 17-year-old boy, that he needs a character breakfast like any child. Or I do. I'm gonna book the Crystal Palace because I want churro waffles for the annual 0% cortisol events. Yes, they're exactly. That's exactly right. Eats Beats. That's exactly right. It is my zero cortisol event. That is like that's the net for all the stress I put myself through all year long. All the nonsense. I make up for it and I go for like a day. This time I go for 2 days, which is like super great. But I go for like a day and it's huh. And it's such a weird, like, it literally is like I pass under the sign and it's like instantly everything mutes. Everything is muted. Um and it do I cry when I get on Main Street and I it's like a special little thing for me to like look at the castle? Yes, I cry every time. Every time. I am that girl. Yep. I get emotional every time I see the castle. I just get a little I get a little emotional. And I have to do it like I have to do it like very specifically. So like I have to like walk up the left tunnel. Like I have a like a system now. But I have to like walk up the left tunnel and then I go like the corner. So there's like the firehouse and then there's the Emporium and I have to like go along the side of the Emporium where they have like the little like movie scenes, Aladdin and the Little Mermaid and all that. And then I have to like walk around the corner and I have to like it's almost like a peering around the corner kind of thing. Like I won't look up. Like even if I have to like walk up the right tunnel and I can see it, I won't look up. I have to look down. I'm not looking up. It's a special moment when I see the castle for the first time. I know I am a giant freaking child, but it's a thing. Like it's like that's I go around the corner and then I'm like looking around the corner, I'm looking down, I'm looking down. I'm like, now's the moment. Now's the moment to look up. And we look up and there it is. And it's na, 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 birds. I had one person in a live go, that's dissociation. You're right. It 100% is. I am dissociating for like a full 24 to 48 hours. Don't care. That's that's for my mental health. That's called mental health, okay? I dissociate for 24 to 48 hours. it it resets my blood pressure for a whole year so that I can make it through. My job is stressful. My life is stressful. I have children, I have a husband, I have a job. I'm in school full time, which I'm also earning. So that's the other thing is Mando Dad is letting me go because every semester that I get a straight A, that I get straight A's, I get a day at Disney. I have completed one full semester at Disney. I have completed one full semester at Colorado Technical University, and I have a 4.0. I am an straight A student. Woot woot. I'm so proud of myself. I've never been a straight A student ever. Ever. I was always a gifted kid, but I did not apply myself, so I never got like good grades, but I never got as good of grades as I could have. And let me tell you, Minnie Mando is like on my grades. Like she is constantly like, she's like, Mom, what do you have? Do you have an A? Did you get an A? Why don't you have an A? Mom, that says a C. Now, the thing is, the thing is that like the way that this does it is like the lessons are cumulative. So like if I complete the first third of the lesson, it scores that first third and then it'll give me an F because I've only completed 30% of the lesson. Now the lesson isn't due for another 5 days, but like my grade will immediately reflect that I have an F on the assignment until I go back in and I complete the rest of it. And let me tell you, if I log in and I've only completed a third of a lesson because I had to step away for something or whatever, Minnie Mando is on me. She's like my mom. She's worse than my mom. Okay? She's like my own little Minnie Mando mom who's like coming to me like, Mom, you have an F? You have an F? You're not allowed to get an F. And I'm like, it's not an F. It's not an F. And I'll like go in and I'll do a couple of the assignments or whatever because it's IT related work, so it's like programming, so I have to like write the programs and do the piecemeals and read all the stuff. And I was like, I'll go in and I'll compete like a nugget of it. And then I'll synchronize it and I'll go back to my grade book and I'll refresh it and it'll go up again. And I'll be like, see, I don't have an F. I just haven't finished the assignment yet. Well, when's it due, Mom? When's it due? I was like, it's due on Sunday. It's Thursday. We're fine. Okay, you better get it done, Mom. You better get it done. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what she's planning to become. I have no idea. She is very, very on me about my grades. it's both cute and frustratingly annoying at the same time. And she's only 10, by the way. She is 10 years old and she is But she'll come over and walk over my computer if I'm like working on school. She's like, Mom, what's your grade? 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 Now, in this household, we do not focus on grades. We do, but we don't. So I grew up in a household that was very punitive if I got a bad grade. So if I got anything less than a B, I was automatically grounded and got like in all kinds of trouble. Right? So that was the household I grew up in. And I said, I will not be that person as a parent because I hated that. I hated being treated that way. Didn't like it. What I do is I do try and like let the kids know that school is important and I only do positive reinforcement. So if my kids get straight A's, they get money. I pay my kids to get straight A's. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but the rule is you get $5 per A if you get straight A's. So Minnie Mando has earned like I think like $80 from doing this because they've only been grading for like 2 years. But every time she brings home a report card that is straight A's, she gets $5 an A. If she doesn't get straight A's, then we go out for ice cream. Like I still like, you did good job. You did great. I am so proud of you. Let's go celebrate this win of like good grades. So I try and like, my parents were very like negative reinforcement when it came to my grades, which was not effective. I'm going to be honest. I'm trying a more positive approach to the whole thing. I don't know if it's working. I'm sure that it's producing some kind of new trauma or whatever, but you know, hey, I'm at least trying to change my own traumas, I guess, and not put my children through the same stuff. Same thing goes for I let Minnie Mando pierce her ears when she was young. I was not allowed to pierce my ears till I was 12. Minnie Mando's like, I want to pierce my ears when she was 5. And I said, cool, we'll go take you to get your ears pierced. I don't care. I got a lecture from my mom. I told her it's my kid. I don't think it matters. Oh, and this weekend I dyed her hair, which got me a lecture from my mother. I dyed Mini Mando's hair this weekend. Just the ends. Um, just the ends. Like this much of her hair. I dyed it green. And of course, like, my mom was very, how could you ruin your daughter's perfectly? I was like, she wanted green hair. We compromised, okay? I don't want her dyeing her whole hair. I think it will damage her hair. But I also don't want to stifle her creativity and how she wants to look. She wants to have green hair. We'll do a section of her hair. Compromise, Mom. It's not about me forcing my will on my children. It's finding something that can make us both happy. I'm not a my way. I am sometimes the my way or the highway, but in the cases of things like colored hair or ear piercing, it's fine. Am I gonna let my 16-year-old get a tattoo? No, but meh. But if she wants to get her nose pierced at 16, fine, let her. I don't care. I've been considering getting my own nose pierced because I've always wanted to do it, but I've always been like afraid of judgment. But I think I might. Not a septum piercing. I don't know that whole septum piercing theory. I just don't like septum piercings on me. I don't think it would look right, but I think I might get like a stud or something. That's right, mindless. Creativity to a point. All things within reason. She wants to dye her whole hair green. I said no, because part of it is also she's got reddish hair like I do, and red hair does not accept dye very well. Like even black box dye will wash out of red hair. Like it just doesn't. Red hair, like the hair shaft or whatever, does not accept dye. So, oh, thank you, Tyler. So I don't want to bleach her whole head. I got her like Arctic Fox dye. I was just testing to see if it worked. It did dye her hair green, but when she took a shower tonight after Taekwondo, it pretty much all washed out. So I don't think her hair. I'm probably gonna have to take her to get it bleached. Like again, but we're only gonna do this section. I don't want to ruin her entire hair. Um, so I don't want to ruin her entire head. I don't want to ruin her hair. Like I know that bleaching her hair will damage her hair. I don't want to do that. But the ends, it's fine. That's fine. So I figure we'll she's probably gonna end up having to get the ends bleached, which I will take the ends to get bleached professionally. I'm not doing that. Dyeing her hair was enough of a scary thing. So, oh, your nieces are little strawberry blondes. Yeah, she's more of a strawberry blonde. She's probably like a dark strawberry blonde, but she's not as red as me, but she's not blonde like her sister. Because Tiny Mando's blonde, like blonde. Dirty blonde. She's a dirty blonde. But Mini Mando is strawberry blonde, like a dark strawberry blonde, but not as red as I am. So we'll probably have to bleach her hair in order to dye it because she got real upset. She's like, it all washed out. I'm like, I told you it might. I told you that it was a low probability that it would stay because you are part red. So, and then of course, Tiny Mando was asking for me to dye her hair green, and I said no because I don't think that a first grader should have dyed hair. That's my opinion. I let the fifth grader have it. Not so sure about the first grader. That weirds me out. I don't think the first grader needs it. Fifth grader, fine. First grader, no. I know, I'm suppressing her creativity. I let her express herself in other ways. Yeah, I can do the cool, and I've done like hair chalk on them and stuff. They've done that before. Yeah, for that, at least in my. Yeah, she's got other things that she experiments with that she still can't wash her own hair. So, like, Mini Mando still, or not Mini Mando, Tiny Mando still is struggling with washing her hair. So the other thing is Tiny Mando is on the spectrum, so it it complicates things even more with that kind of stuff. So, yeah, good night, Omni. I will be on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully I'll stop getting content guidelines violations on the clock app because it doesn't make any sense. Did I get the appeals for those yet? Did they go through? Nope. One of the appeals went through. But the other 3 are still there. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see if submitting the ticket will fix it. I don't know. I hope so. It must be a bot. Maybe it was that user that was in the live. Cuz I haven't gotten so I got a strike for basically being boring was what I got. Yeah, I think it was no, I don't think it was a troll. I'm pretty sure it was a bot. The bot kept reporting my live for being monotonous and boring, basically. And like I kind of understood, like when I was doing the first couple of ones and I was reading, like I got it. Like, okay, maybe I'm not moving enough, or there's not enough engagement or whatever for reading the book. But then tonight, I got it within the first 30 seconds of being on live. Like I started the live and immediately got the violation, which makes zero sense. Like I don't even have enough time to talk. How am I getting a I've not even said like 3 words. Like how could I get a violation 10 seconds into the live? Like it didn't make any sense. So it's probably a bot. There was like someone in the live that had like, it was like user 5375 blah blah blah. I blocked them so that they didn't respond when I was like, okay, I'm going to block you. They didn't say anything, so that must have been the bot. And I submitted a help desk ticket to like say something, be like, why do I keep getting these? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not doing anything bad. Whatever. Anyway, it is nearly midnight, which means it is almost Chinese New Year here on the East Coast, right? Chinese New Year is tomorrow. So I am going to sign off for the night. I think I'm going to go to bed because I am sleepies and I have work tomorrow. And I have to go get this like ultrasound thing on my neck because something weird is going on with my lymph nodes. Like I have like they're hard and weird and it's only on the one side. So my doctor was like, let's just go check them out. Just see what's happening. So we'll see what's happening. Yay. I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. He said it's probably nothing, but you know, just in case. I'm veering on the side of nothing. I'm trying to not be a hypochondriac. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a good day tomorrow. I hope you make good choices. I hope you're safe. Mindless, can we play Restorats or Minecraft tomorrow? Maybe, possibly. Hang on, I'm going to tell you guys we're going to play video games tomorrow. If Mindless is still here, he might have already left. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. We haven't played Restorats in a few whiles. You're still here. Can we play Rats tomorrow? We haven't played in like 2 weeks. Look, I'm cute. Sure. All right. So tomorrow, join me on the Purple app or the Play Button app. Either one is fine. LINK and the BIO to find me on those other apps. It's the same name. I will be streaming video games tomorrow night. I don't know what time. It's whatever time I get on. So just make sure you're in the other places. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good night. Hinvasti Arvan Vasti. Is the A umlaut? To me, that's an A umlaut in German. It's the A sound. Does it do the A sound? Hivesti Arvan Ruvile? I don't know. I unfortunately do not speak Finnish. So anyway, follow me on the other places. On Wednesday night, I'll be here 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will read the next 2 to 4 chapters of Mall Lockdown. I hope you guys have a good night. Mwah. Love you. And same thing goes for you guys over on the TikTok, not the TikToks, on the Tube and on the Twitch. I will see you guys tomorrow night. We will stream something. I don't know if it's going to be Minecraft or Restorats or something else. I don't know. Probably Restorats if I don't know where Terry is. So I cannot play